Yes. This is the Constitution of the United States. Uh-huh. Um, well, there's numerous articles in it. Yes. Mm, mm. And then there's the executive branch, vice chosen, same term be elected as follows. The office of trust or profit. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for two persons of whom one at least shall be not be an inhabitant of the same state as themselves. Now somebody probably changed this. I'm just reading what it says. Did you as a state decide? Well, Colorado, you're going to get a fat lawsuit. They shall make a list of all persons voted for and of the number of votes for each. Each list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate, and have open all the certificates and votes shall then be counted. Now, why do they have an electoral college? What was the? Oh, I did, didn't I? I did look at that. Now let's see. The judicial power of the United States vested in one Supreme Court, such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Yeah. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their office during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for the service compensation, which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. Now, this judicial power, there was something about being bound to the laws of the United States. Excuse me, Judge. Is there a binding effect of the oath of office? Laws of the United States, treaties, controversies, ambassadors, appellate jurisdiction, trial not committed. Testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act or confession in open court. Mm. Um, Remember those two or three witnesses? Pooch. I know that they had it someplace in here about the two witnesses. Yes. To the same overt act. No person convicted of treason. Well, let's see. Who was it that said I was in Brindle, Washington? Who said I was in Swim, Washington? Excuse me. Oath or affirmation. So help me God. Vice officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Yes. Now, this is Article 3, but then there's Article 6. Constitutional laws which shall be made pursuant so there shall be the supreme law of the land. Judges of every state shall be bound thereby. The binding effect of the oath of office of every judge of the United States. Oh, what you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Let's say I bound this whole nation. I didn't just email local law enforcement, but every day that you decided that you were going to refuse to enforce the guarantees of the Constitution, the Fifth and the 14th Amendments, well, why did the Department of Justice obligate Alabama to enforce the 15th Amendment? You know, when I think about every judge in this nation, are you bound? The 15th, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged. Is that what the Department of Justice used as an argument to pre-clear each and every election for 25 years? Oh, they enforce the 15th Amendment, but they don't enforce the 14th Amendment. They don't enforce the 13th Amendment. Let's see here. The 12th Amendment, the electors, there it was. They got changed in their respective states and then vote by ballot for president, vice president, one of whom at least shall not be the inhabitant. Oh, well, do they guarantee that? I mean, how many states right now have the actual authority to change the guarantees of the United States of America? Because it seems to me that for this state to hear, well, Council of Record, um, why is it that they put this, Attorney General tester device as term defined Section 4C of the RA? The director of the census determined that less than 50% of persons of voting age residing in Alabama voted in the presidential election in November 1964. Less than 50% of the persons. Well, exactly how many states are going to remove the other guarantees? That the 12th Amendment? Excuse me, states. What other guarantees did you decide you were going to remove? Because prophylactically restraining all voting changes. This is an interesting word, the prophylactic. You know, it's difficult, to not think of a condom when reading the word prophylactic. Ew. I know you say, well, it's difficult to not think that. Unlike these provisions, Section 5 did not outlaw discriminatory voting practices or directly confront voting discrimination in some other way. Instead, it limited traditional state and local control over elections by prophylactically restraining all voting changes in parts of our country that had engaged in an unremitting and ingenious defiance of the Constitution. The unremitting and ingenious. See, let's say you're in defiance of the Constitution of the United States. You won't enforce the guarantees of the first 10 amendments. Pooch. You won't enforce the guarantees of those that were ratified after the Constitution was ratified and after they had adopted those 10 amendments. You won't enforce the guarantees.